welcome to Knobcat Games Dungeons of the Obelisk podcast. I'm your host, Joe Sleppy. I'm Executive Prime at Knobcat Games. And this podcast is an audio devlog where we get together every 2 weeks and we talk about the progress of our game, Dungeons of the Obelisk, which is a 2D turn-based dungeon crawling loot grinding adventure. And I'm joined today by our animancer, Nyka.
Hi.
And our digital alchemist, TJ Yadacernia.
Hello.
And guys, we talked about this a little bit before we started, but it's kind of a slower week. We're getting down into less exciting updates. We're not like adding new mobs or dungeons or anything anymore, but we're down to like TJ's working on the servers, and Nyka, you're into the last like bit of animations, and
oh yeah.
yeah, and for Ben, he's basically done. I kind of told him he's done for now, unless we think of something we missed or whatever until we get to it. But yeah, let's start with the server update, I guess. What's new with the servers, TJ?
Well, I finally started to make what feels like actual progress, because you have to upload a server build to PlayFab, and this week I've managed to get the server build to get in there and actually function, because last few times really that I did it said that it was like unhealthy or did not function, just stayed in the red.
Yeah, I got those emails that said like a server is unhealthy and going to be shut down, and I was like, what is this?
So finally got that to work. Thought I was basically done with it. I clicked on the build, loaded it up on my end, clicked play, and then it closed out of me.
So when you say it's a server build, is it like a build of the game that runs on the server? Or is it like a build for the server that the game you have on your computer connects to?
So at first I wasn't entirely sure. PlayFab is a bit vague with how they word things. I think they word it in a way that someone who did it before would look at it and say, yeah, I know exactly what this is going to do. After messing around with it and getting it to not work, I can say that it's probably a build for the server that you connect to. So then you need a separate build that isn't the server build, but connects to the server build.
Right, that makes sense.
I'm hoping that kind of within the next week, it should be able to have the server build, which exists, I know it works, and then the non-server build, which I can connect to the server and get everything to actually function how it's supposed to.
So the build that you sent us recently, like the most recent build, it doesn't actually run on the server, it just saves items to the server, right?
Yeah. So although it connects to PlayFab, you're not constantly connected to it. So it can save things and send stuff over to it, but there's still certain things that you're able to do that you're not supposed to be able to. Like, it doesn't constantly check, are you connected to this server? Which means it doesn't prevent you from doing things you're not supposed to be allowed to do.
Right, like hacking items or something.
Yeah.
That makes sense. So basically we're saving. So when we say we're saving to a server or like PlayFab, that there's two different servers basically, right? Like there's a server that stores your data, but then there's like a server that actually like runs the dungeon or the town instance or whatever.
Yeah, the way it works is I figured it would be like all one type of thing, but it does seem to be like that, where you have that server somewhere and then your computer says, this is my gear that I own, and that server saves it. But then you have the other server where it says, this is my player actively connected. My computer is connected to this server, and I can actively do stuff by pulling from the other server that has my gear.
Right, that's interesting. It's like so complicated. Like there's always like so much more than you think there's gonna be. That's been like the story of it. Like when we started, I knew it was gonna be like, I knew it was like gonna cost more than we thought, and I had a little bit of like a backup plan for that, and I knew it was gonna be like more complicated and take longer than we thought. But man, it has taken 10 times longer than I thought, and probably like 6 or 8 times the money than I thought. So it's been an old trip for sure.
Oh yeah, it's been tedious. It's like I'm slowly learning each time, and I feel like I make no progress with it, but slowly getting through and actually getting it to function. Because a few weeks ago, couldn't even get the thing to accept the build as a server, but now I can. But I can't connect to it, so it's getting there. Not at the speed that I would like either.
It's so weird because everybody's like, oh, when do you expect your game to be done? And it's like, I have absolutely no clue. Like, is it going to be by the end of this year? I sure hope so, but like, who the hell knows? It's like, man, I'm really, that's something we're going to talk about like off air, I think, when we're done here. But yeah, we're getting down to like, I don't want to say we're running out of money, but we're at the point where we need to like really be thinking about it and see how much time we have left. So that's something we're going to talk about later, I guess. But I think we're going to get it finished up and working in one way or the other. But I don't know. It's such a crazy thing, like game development, I guess.
Yeah, from what I had learned and seen with larger companies is that it's so hard to stick to a release date. And the release date for them is typically an estimate, like, oh yeah, probably it'll be done by this day. And they always contend with the issue of, do they push the date further back, or do they risk it and release it in a more broken state, which unfortunately some companies do more often now than they should.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. For us, like, we can't really even release in a broken state until stuff, we get the servers working. We couldn't even put it out right now. Guess we could like put it out as a single player game or something and charge for it, and you don't connect to anybody or have any multiplayer, I suppose, but that's not really something we want to do.
Yeah, technically you could release it as a non-multiplayer game, or you could make a friends list and look at their gear, but that would be the extent of multiplayer. Just look at your friends' gear.
Yeah, which is kind of the extent of multiplayer at the moment anyways. Like for launch, you're not going to be able to like do too much with your friends other than talk to them, but we need to have that groundwork laid for the multiplayer that we want to come eventually.
Set it up now so you don't have to do it later.
Yeah, we need to have, it's so weird because like we've done so much work and the game's getting there, but like really it's just the start of a game. So I really, really hope that people can see the vision and that there's enough there for them to play and get started on, and then hopefully there's some income so that we can continue to work on it, because otherwise we might just put it out and not make any money, and it'll just kind of sit there the way it is.
Yeah, that'd be like, I guess, worst case scenario on releases. They releases and people play it but don't spend.
Yeah, or no one plays it. I don't know how it's gonna work. I think Brittany's gonna get people to know about it. So I think people are gonna play it, and hopefully the in-app purchase stuff is reasonable enough to people that they do jump in and give us a little bit of money.
It is actually one of the other things I was working on with the server stuff is the in-app purchases, because Steam does it weird. I didn't think they would do it like this, where you have to have your game. You have to have a outsource system to do the in-app purchases, and you have to have Steam at the same time. So you can't do it through Steam purely. You have to have, like with us, we have PlayFab, so I connected it to PlayFab, and then from there, you go from game to PlayFab, PlayFab to Steam, Steam back to PlayFab, and PlayFab tells your game that it's all set.
That's wild. When are we going to be able to, actually, are we going to be able to play connected to Steam before it's, on Steam? Does that question make sense?
Yeah, I gotta check what's up with that, because I know on my end, through Unity, it connects, and it works, and it says, hey, you're logged into Steam, everything functions. But the build doesn't do it, and it might be because Steamworks needs a build sent to them so that they can look at it and kind of do their approval process.
Right. Yeah, I've been thinking about it. I know there's that section where you can upload a test build and then give people access to it through Steam, but it's not actually released yet. And then they can connect to the test server, the test realm. Yeah, I can't think of anything else server related that I have questions about. Anything else for the server update?
Oh, the friends list is getting a little bit better.
Oh yeah, I have everybody in the game on my friends list now.
Yeah, I had updated it so now that it can show pretty easily your level and your Paragon level. I found out that the stats for, like, what armor do you have equipped? What does your character look like? Those are a bit more complex.
Yeah.
That still should be doable, instead of, like, basically the player can search through your account. They won't be able to pull anything, you won't be able to steal any, like, loot or anything, but you have to search the player's inventory, like another player account's inventory, to do all that.
So let me ask you this then. I just opened my friends list in game, and it's telling me that everybody's level 25, Paragon 25, and then there's actually, this is the first time I've seen this, there's a character in front of the friends list that has like a mismatch bit of items, like a half a pair of pants, and it looks like he's got the legendary cloak but the uncommon shirt on. It's really weird.
That sounds like so when I was starting to add in the player profile, that's basically the default state of the player profile. When you click on it, it'll show like, hey, this is your friend's equipment, this is what he looks like, this is his stats, this is everything he's got going on. But does it say that my character has a level to him other than 25?
No, it says TJ Yads level 25, Paragon 25, and you've been offline for 1 days, or last logged in 1 days ago.
Alright, sounds like it's broken.
Yeah, for me, my entire list, which I guess is these 10 people, that's everybody that's ever made an account, and they're all level 25, Paragon 25, but it seems like the last login is working good. There's somebody that's logged in 95 days ago. Ahimaz. Wonder who that is.
I'll say that was, I think that was Josh.
Oh, that's possible, yeah.
I have to see what's up with the stats, because I couldn't test it on my end, because I was the only one that had a stat level like that.
Yeah.
So it was impossible to look at because no one else had one, and I can't look at something that doesn't exist.
Yeah, you should be able to see like my character on there now, right?
Hopefully. I'm gonna have to test it.
Yeah, I guess if that's all the stuff for the server update, we can move on to a couple little, like, I guess fun things that I was thinking of. Like last episode we did our favorite like selling point or whatever, and I was kind of curious about everybody's like favorite item and favorite mob, so I was thinking we could talk about those maybe.
For sure. I'm trying to remember what it was called, and I feel silly because I was the one who animated this, but oh,
I created them all and I can't remember all their names and stuff, so
I really love. I just found it. It's the Waywind's Grace Bow. I really love how that one came out, like just with the leaves and the kind of nature aesthetic, like you kind of repurposed a branch for it or something. It's good.
Yeah, Waywind's Grace, the legendary bow. It says this bow has been blessed by the goddess of the Itoroi forest. So that's one that has like lore embedded in it. You know, there's a mention of a goddess and a forest and stuff that you don't really see in the game anywhere else, but yeah, I really like the leaves coming off of that one too. Like, how did you animate that? Is that like a particle effect, or is it just like you literally just make some leaves? It
is a particle effect, but what I did that was interesting was I actually got the bow and I kind of like surgically removed one of its leaves and like kind of like fixed it up a little, like kind of fixed the edges of it to look better, and then I made that into its own particle. So I thought it would, like, that way it would match the rest of the leaves, and I like how it came out. It seemed to do a trick.
Yeah, it looks really cool.
I love that, like, implication of, like, further lore, though, that's, like, not even really touched upon that much, like, because that's room to, like, expand if we ever want to, and more ideas are good, I always think.
Yeah, I think, like, I mean, I don't know how much of it's mentioned in game or whatever, but like, you know, we obviously have the town, which is Topia, and then the like hills and like the area like outside of town, like kind of the rolling hills and like farmlands and stuff, is called Squibbledale.
Nice.
And I guess there's like hill giants and stuff that come down into Squibbledale as well. And then like we've named the world is called the Realm. So like, there's kind of like an implication that there's like a king and stuff that is in charge over like the whole realm. And then, we have like the Itaroy Forest is another area that's mentioned. And I think that's it for, I guess, the Swamps of Karuzaran is the other area that's mentioned too. So
yeah, I don't want to talk too much about it because that might be like spoiler territory, but I really like the boss of that area too. As far as mobs go, that was a good one.
Yeah, we want to do, actually, me and Brittany were planning on at some point doing like a mob or a boss reveal stream.
Nice.
Maybe for like the people in the Discord and stuff. And basically we were waiting on a solid build from TJ. We want one where items are, not disappearing and stuff, so we can actually get leveled up and see the bosses. I guess the build that we have, the current build, is pretty solid, so we might be able to do that next like weekend or something when I'm off. I guess for the listener, join the Discord and we'll be announcing it in there when we set a date.
Yeah, I was kind of worried I was like skipping in the favorite mob a little bit by bringing that up. But,
oh yeah, is that your favorite mob, the boss that we haven't revealed yet?
I'm not sure. Like, I really like the just like blub, the cube. I actually really had a lot of fun with that one.
Yeah, the blub's a good one. The gelatinous cube that just has tons of health.
Yeah,
not much else.
That one's fun because it was like, I was doing like 4-limbed creatures and then suddenly it was like, oh, figure out how a cube moves? And I was like, oh, interesting. Tried to think of how like Pixar used to do stuff with like lamps and other household objects and stuff. I guess that all culminated in Toy Story. But yeah. I don't know, it was really fun to like figure out how to like animate the skull within it too. Because I wanted it to like emphasize like what moves it was doing, but I figure that the cube itself doesn't have that much room for like expression, so it was a fun like extra way to add some like personality.
Yeah, I think all the mobs are very I want to say expression-y. That's not the right word. That's not a real word. They're all like they're animated in very expressive ways.
If anyone's like curious, like I think my biggest inspiration though has probably been just like playing Pokemon Stadium as a kid. Because like you're always renting different Pokemon, they all have their own like little bespoke animations for everything, and I don't feel like they do that as much in the new ones, but I used to really kind of obsess over those little like death animation or fainting animations and like spawning in animations and stuff. It's cool stuff.
Yeah. I wonder if it's just because there's like 10,000 Pokemon now.
I mean,
you can't have like unique animations for each one.
I mean, that's literally it. They when they started, they were just Game Freak, and Nintendo was publishing their games, and now they have a separate company called the Pokemon Company that handles all their merchandising and models their Pokemon in every new game. So they have like a whole different company handling the modeling on that, and I just find that wild that they just like focus on the base game. I mean, it makes sense. When you have 1,000, you kind of have to find a way to split the work up, I guess.
Yeah, for sure. Wonder if how many mobs we'll end up with.
Oh yeah, if we end up with enough, like, we should just make a monster hunt, like a monster collecting, like, spin-off or something. Or, like, we have a companion that's already kind of like monster collecting, but, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, in Bit Heroes, you do collect the mobs in that game. They're called, like, familiars, I guess.
Oh, yeah.
And you collect, and then like instead of like, you go into like an area and you'll have like a tank mob and you'll be the DPS, and then you might have like a healer mob or something like that. So there's definitely like potential for that kind of a game mode, but it was always kind of like my least favorite aspect of the game. I know a lot of people like it, but it just you know,
Oh yeah.
our game's already complicated enough, and we were talking about how long it was taking, so
Oh yeah.
adding
no.
something like that right now would be nuts, but there's definitely potential for that if that's something that people are interested in.
I think ideas like that are good if you've already released the game and like you're hitting a corner or things are starting to feel stale. It's a great way to shake things up, but like definitely not for like an MVP. That's a whole different game.
Yeah, I have enough stuff in documents scattered around in my drive that we're not short on any ideas yet.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. Like, just the stuff you've shared is, like, really thorough, so I'm not surprised. That's cool.
TJ, I think I know what you're gonna say for your favorite mob. What's your favorite item and favorite mob?
Item's a tough one, because there's a ton of items.
Yeah.
I guess I'm gonna pick a non-equipment item. I like the Saturday sauce.
Nice.
The entire idea of just, you have this bottle of hot sauce that gives you various gifts. I think it gives you like crystals and other fun stuff, but the whole concept of you have this bottle of hot sauce that gives you basically power.
Do you want to know my idea for that? Like when I was trying to come up with bundles for like the different days, and I was like, what goes with Saturday? And like, you know, sauce has the alliteration, but I was thinking about like Tenacious D and their rocket sauce.
Nice.
Is there let me get a non-equipment loot and see what the I don't even remember writing this as the flavor text. It says, do you need the special sauce? This is the specialist.
Nice.
I don't even remember writing that. Does that even make sense?
I'm not so sure it does, but it's funny.
I like specialist, whether it makes a perfect sense or not. It is the most special, yes.
Specialist sauce on Saturdays.
Nice.
Is your favorite mob the glub?
I do like the glub. The glub is a very well-designed pile of slime. But I did want to bring up Mo. Mo the, what is it, mosquito? Mo the mosquito?
Yeah.
Because I was looking at its animations, and I realized kind of like the detail that goes into not only how it flies, but how it reacts to fighting you, along with dying. Because when it attacks, it kind of like curls its stinger inward, which I don't think it can physically do, but...
No.
But then it like jabs it back at you.
Yeah, I was thinking of kind of like a whipping motion or something, like kind of like a furl up and like lash out, but I realized that too while I was anime. I was like, I'm pretty sure there's no bug alive that does this. But like I kept seeing that little antenna on the front and being like, oh, that just like, he should stab someone with that. Like, I don't know. Other than that, I was just thinking of like maybe having them like land on you and like flap their wings in your face or something, but that doesn't really make sense. So I was like, I don't know. A poke attack seems right. And I think the description called it a poke attack anyway, so I think I was kind of leaning that way. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean it has lifesteal as its
Oh, that's right.
little ability or whatever, so it's definitely like sucking your blood.
Oh, Mo.
I mean, the other thing about Mo is that was the last mob that we added, because originally it was just going to be the skeleton as the trash mob for that area. And we did all the other mobs, they were all like swamp creatures. And then I was like, does it even make sense for like a skeleton to be like yeah, there could be skeletons like they died and the obelisk power like makes them undead or whatever in the swamp, but it just made more sense to have like a mosquito as the trash mob that's like infesting the swamp.
Yeah, no, it makes a lot of sense. Like, you'd imagine having more like insect kind of type stuff in a bog, so I feel like it really helps having the trash mob be something like that. I like the idea of skeleton mobs too, but it was fun to do a flying mob for sure.
Yeah, we'll have skeletons at some point, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, I mean that's just an easy one. Like we already have the art assets for it and everything.
Yeah.
Lead to an entire catacomb section.
Ooh, yeah. Some kind of like tomb underneath the city or something. I don't know. Ah, jeez.
Yeah, I won't say anything.
You got the skeleton. You got bigger skeleton.
Eagle skeleton. I mean, that works. Like, Dark Souls games sold like millions of copies literally just because they always put a big skeleton in them. I mean, that's it, right? Like, okay, I'm partially joking, but like, they do like to put the big skeleton boss in their trailers a lot, and that is always very eye-catching. I do appreciate it. Like, sarcasm aside, like, what's scarier than a skeleton? A big skeleton.
Hey, when in doubt, just make it bigger.
Yeah.
Not a whole new enemy.
I'm still gonna send you this book, Nyka, but
Yeah.
this reminds me of Gideon the Ninth, which is a book that I read whenever I was injured and bedridden for a couple months. And man, it was such a good book, but it was about necromancers and like all of their like powers. They would just like control bones. And they like made a bunch of not to give any spoilers or anything, but there's a bunch of like monstrous bone monsters and stuff in it that they create. It's like a really cool take on like necromancers and stuff.
And I mean, that's really like fitting, like it's fitting stuff to be thinking about with like the Dungeons of the Obelisk, because we don't really have like a specific necromancer, but in a way, I guess the obelisk itself is kind of a necromancer.
I mean, we have the necromancer in town, Rodney.
Oh, that's right, we do actually. Never mind.
He does show up when you die.
Fair enough. That's probably thinking way too ahead, but I was like, was there like a necromancer who set up the obelisk maybe? Who knows?
Deeper plot.
Did we lose you? Oh no, Nyka.
That's not a good sign.
Uh-oh. Well, she's been having the trouble with her computer. I see her typing. I think she's gonna say her computer crashed. Computer crashed. Oops. Well, darn. Hopefully that saves her audio, or we're gonna be in a lot of trouble. But we're also at 36 minutes on this podcast that we didn't know what we were going to talk about. But I am going to say that one of my favorite items is, I don't know why, the Inclement Sword, which is the rare sword. You know, it's not even like a legendary one, but I think the design of it is so cool. And it's like, you know, like Ben just made, like, I don't know, it just looks awesome. It is like a cool sword to have, and I feel like maybe we'll build on the Inclement Sword in another level or tier or something. But I just think like having like the idea of a sword that's just like cold to the touch.
I was trying to hunt it down, trying to see what it looks like. That is actually a pretty nice sword.
Yeah, I keep saying it looks cool, but it's also a sword that's literally cold. And the flavor text says it's cold to the touch.
Special power, cold.
Yeah, we don't have any elemental powers or anything yet, but maybe it'll retroactively get elemental cold damage or something someday.
You know, you can do a lot with a permanently cold sword. Keep that in your house as like an air conditioner.
Yeah, like keep your food in it and stuff. You just put it in like a cooler with your food, and it just keeps it chill.
Yep, multi-purpose sword.
My favorite mob is the Sneck. It's because of the Sneck juice and the lore that's implied by that.
I feel like the Sneck just subtly has the most lore about it, because you have an entire salesman dedicated to selling its juice.
To milking them and selling them. Yep.
Not entirely sure how you milk it still, but not sure I'm gonna ask. I feel like that's flavor text too. He probably mentions it.
Yeah, there is like flavor text and stuff about it, but I mean, in real life, they milk snakes for their venom by like they basically like let them bite onto the bottle.
Oh yeah.
And like their venom goes into the bottle like from their tooth. But I'm not sure how you milk a Sneck.
It's definitely a large creature, so grabbing it and forcing it to bite a bottle might be a bit dangerous.
Well, yeah, we're at 40 minutes on our recording, which is like way longer than I thought we were gonna go. So I think I'm gonna wrap this thing up since we lost Nyka as well.
Yeah.
To the listener, thank you so much for listening to the end, and thank you for your interest in our game. Make sure you visit our newly redesigned website, knobcat.com. Check out all the work that Brittany has put into it. Find the link to our Discord. Join us in our Discord. Ask us questions. Talk to us in there. That's the place where we're going to find the people for testing, and that's where we're going to do our boss reveal stream and stuff like that. And you can also find us on social media, which is both at Dungeons Obelisk for Instagram and Twitter. And I think that's it for this episode. We'll see you in 2 weeks. Bye.
See you.